Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, the Merovingians, them. Okay, the super rich families of the earth. Verse 2: Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Now, there's a video you
It
can watch
certainly
on
does.
YouTube,
I do the
which I'll
same
put
thing.
up, and a screenshot and
And
everything.
incidentally, on those gold
Where these
bars,
assholes, it happened
you
here
may
in
have
America,
seen
or involved
there's
America,
a
and
German
then also there's
television
another incident,
program
I believe it was in Europe or somewhere,
called
I think it was Great
Galileo
Britain,
that
where
just
they're
had a
shipping
program
basically
on
gold.
a refining company in
Speaking
Hanau,
on
which is
America,
outside of
was
Frankfurt.
shipping gold to China,
And I happen to know
and then they
Frankfurt
discovered that
quite well. I used to live there. And
the gold was
they
basically tungsten,
discovered
right?
a
They just got tungsten bars and then
gold
overlaid
bar,
it with a thin layer of gold and made the shit look real
which had been
professional.
covered with gold.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody ended up looking at it and like, whoa,
this
they cut
proves
the bar
the
open,
story
broke it up, whatever.
that
And it's
Rob
tungsten.
Kirby brought up.
So it's showing you how much of a devil you so-called white people are. You think China's forgot that? Alright? You assholes shipped them a bunch of damn tungsten, which is basically, you could use that, in some cases, you could use it for bullets. It's just regular ass metal. It's not worth anything. So you crackers are a bunch of assholes, alright? That's why it says right here, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Verse 3 here, it says, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. That's why these nations, they're like, alright, fuck you. You're gonna send us a bunch of fake gold, then alright, now we know how much of a liar and a piece of shit and a fraudulent bastard you are, so we're just not gonna deal with you. And we're gonna drop your dollar. Alright? And it's gonna eat your flesh as it were fire, because ultimately what you're doing is you're stirring them countries up, and then they're gonna ultimately fire those fucking missiles on you and blow your ass up. Okay? It says you have heaped treasure together for the last days. Now why is it that those golden bars are found with tungsten on them? Well, because the so-called elite, the higher up, basically, they're hoarding all that gold up for themselves. You got people who still believe that there's gold in Fort Knox. That gold been gone, alright? These elites, these Rothschilds, these families that I mentioned earlier, they're hoarding all the real wealth and precious metals and stones and all that. They're hoarding all the real wealth up, while they let you niggas run around in the clubs and on your fucking stupid rap videos throwing around paper money, which ain't backed by shit, because they ain't shit to back it by. You niggas really think that your damn dollar that you're holding in your hand, or your 20 or your 50 or your 100 or your 1,000, your C notes, you really think that shit's worth something? You never stop to consider, wait a minute, I just got paper in my hands, this really ain't worth shit. Okay? And the time's gonna come where that shit is gonna be, it really ain't gonna be worth shit, alright? Now verse 4, it says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of Sabaoth, or the Lord of Sabaoth, which is talking about the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies. Alright? Now, there's a law in the Bible that says you're not supposed to impose usury on anybody, which is interest. Okay? And you crackers are notorious for that shit. That's why if you're anybody, if you're going to college, you know that right around the time after you graduate and you're about to start college, you start getting what in the mail? Credit cards. Because they know you're young, they know you're probably broke, or you ain't got no job, you're looking for a job, or if you're working, you go to school at the same time, and you ain't really got cash. So what, here, take this credit card, put whatever you're going to buy on the credit card. Alright? They put interest all on that shit. Next thing you know, you're in debt. First year in college, you're in debt. Alright? And another one which just escaped me for a second. Oh, when you're on the job, you're supposed to get your wages for that day. Okay? You're not supposed to get paid weekly and bi-weekly or even monthly. You're supposed to get, you work, from whenever, sun up to sundown or whatever. Alright? Because a lot of people who do work like that, brothers work a lot. Alright, and once you get off work, you're supposed to get your money right then and there, so you can do whatever you need with it. Go buy wine, go buy your food, you know, take care of what you need to take care of, alright? But the so-called white man, he pay you weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly. Which is why you got the term living check to check. Alright? And it's bullshit. So let me read that again. It says James 5:4, behold the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields. Alright, the people you got out there working, excuse me, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth. Alright, and you keep everything back by fraud. You don't give nobody their money when they're supposed to. Okay? You tax the people to death. You got this guy, why is his name escaping me? A dude off of Blade, Wesley Snipes. He's in jail now doing Fed time for 3 years for so-called tax evasion. And from what I believe, he paid his money back. He paid his taxes back, but they still put his ass in jail. Now you got this video. It's called From Freedom to Fascism by Aaron Russo. Alright, the guy who directed Coming to America and other movies. Alright, he basically, in that video, he basically exposed how income tax, federal income tax, is unlawful, and you really don't have to pay it. And there's no law that says that you have to pay taxes, but the fucking IRS, the so-called white man, he's gonna make you pay it, even though he has no law to say that you have to pay those taxes. He's gonna make you pay it, and if you don't, you're going to jail. That shows you how unlawful and wicked the so-called white man is. Alright, it says verse 5, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth. Now, did we not read that earlier in Isaiah the 47th chapter? Thou art given to pleasures and dwelleth carelessly. Alright, it says, ye have lived in pleasures on the earth and have been wanton. Wanton meaning undisciplined. Alright, you had this thing when Bush was in office. I can't remember when exactly it was. I believe it was a little while after 9/11. Well, basically it's saying he was just basically trying to tell everybody, spend, go shopping, you know, buy this, buy that. Alright, being undisciplined, because you know people in America. Alright, first off, America is the biggest consumer nation on the planet, and the biggest exporter is China. Alright, which ships all their shit here, which is why you always got somebody in goddamn Walmart just buying shit, buying something that they have no business buying shit that they don't even use, but they're gonna buy it. Alright, so that's what it's talking about here in America. It's talking about America here. Alright, you so-called white people primarily, but this fits America. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton, and ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. What's one big example of that happened
video taken
last
from
year?
the BART train, recorded on a cell phone by a passenger who doesn't want to be identified.
At the DART station.
You can see 22-year-old Oscar Brandt on his knees talking to police.
California.
He is pulled onto the ground face down.
Then
after what appears to be a struggle, a BART officer puts his knee to Brandt's neck and head, and another officer steps back, draws his gun, and fires it once into Grant's back. His friends who were just feet away from him say they watched
three guys on one dude. The dude he wasn't that big. He looked like he was gonna take on 3 officers. But what happened? They fucking the guy stood up, reached for his gun, and shot him in the back. Just shot him. Witnesses and everything, and then he just got off basically scot-free. Gave him manslaughter when that was clearly murder. And he wants to say that he thought it was his taser. Alright, now I personally have never held a gun nor a taser, but I know brothers who have, and they basically have said there you can clearly tell the difference between a gun and a taser. And I believe it just by looking for what I've seen. Alright, a gun is much bigger than a taser. Alright, and it's made, a taser is what, plastic, basically, a rubber, I should say. A gun, that's, if depending on what kind of gun it is, you're dealing with a much heavier type. It's gonna have some steel in it, unless you got some kind of Glock or something like that, something that deals mainly with some kind of plastic or rubber or whatever, some kind of composite. Alright, but that's an example of that, and that's been going on ever since you so-called white people have come over here to America. Alright,